Thanks, John. Yeah, I guess that's true. It's been a bit of a tough week for us. It was Friday last week. I have a wife and two children. One wife, two children. Got that the right way around. And Diane, she's kind of you guys will know what I'm talking about. She's kind of the linchpin of our family, the hub that everything centres around. And she got sick on Friday, and so I was thinking, oh heavens, how are we going to cope? And then on Saturday, James, my little boy, he's 6 years old. Normally a bundle of energy. He got sick, so he was. Well, you don't need to know the details. He was sick, and then on Sunday last week, Emily, my 9-year-old girl, she went down, and I was thinking, oh no, I haven't got my wife to be able to look after the children really well, and I've got two sick children to look after. How are we possibly going to cope? And then on Monday, I got sick as well. So from basically Monday through to we got better at different stages, but the 3 or 4 days there, we were all sick simultaneously, which is not something that you want to happen. Really, wasn't the easiest week. My first day up was yesterday, and so it's really great. I'm really pleased to be able to be here. One of the things I told Emily, while she was not very well, was that Emily's 9 years old, and 9-year-old girls have a somewhat unusual sense of humour and like telling jokes. And I told Emily that I would tell you her favourite joke. So I'm going to start off by telling you this. It's a 9-year-old girl joke, so don't have high expectations. And possibly I'm not the best joke teller in the world either. But basically the joke goes like this. There's an Indian, a Kiwi, and an Australian. I should say I'm an Australian, so well done to the All Blacks last night. Very good, yes. It's very, very impressive. And let's move on. An Indian, a Kiwi, and an Australian, right? They go to an amusement park and they decide to go on this roller coaster. And as they're walking up to the roller coaster, the lady who's in charge of the roller coaster says to them, oh no, this is a magic roller coaster. And so whatever you yell when you start to go down, the really steep, fast bit of the slide, it comes true. And so the Indian says, score, this is fantastic. And so he jumps on the roller coaster the first time, and up it goes. And as it's coming down, the really steep, fast bit of the slide, he yells out, gold! And all this gold starts falling down around him, and he's thrilled. And when he gets off the roller coaster, he goes and picks up all the guys, thinking this is wonderful. The Kiwi thinks, oh man, this is incredible. This is amazing. So the Kiwi, he goes up, and he's trying to think, what should I say? What should I say? He comes down and he says the same thing, gold! And even more gold starts falling down all around him, and he's thinking, oh, this is wonderful. This is wonderful. And the Australian sort of waited to the last, as they always do, and then sort of he jumps on the roller coaster. The roller coaster's going up, and it gets up to the top, and he sort of he just loses his head and he thinks, this is so cool, and he goes, woo! On the way down. Yeah. It's been such a profound service up till now, and then it's kind of just really all gone down. Isn't that the way jokes work, though, isn't it? You have something that happens, then something almost the same happens, and then you expect the same thing to happen again, but something different happens, and that's the punchline, the thing that happens that's different. And I wanted to talk to you this morning about a bit of the Bible that works that kind of way. What happened was there was this bunch of Pharisees. Pharisees were the really good people back in Jesus' time. They were the people who always did what was right. They always did what was the right thing to do. And these Pharisees were saying to themselves, they were muttering. That's the word the Bible uses, muttering amongst themselves. They were saying, why does Jesus hang out with these prostitutes and tax collectors and sinners and those kinds of people? Essentially, the Pharisees, the good people, were looking at the bad people and saying Jesus should be hanging out with good people rather than hanging out with bad people, the sinners, the no-hopers, the lost people. And Jesus, he hears them muttering this stuff. That's the word the Bible uses. And in response, what he does is he tells them 3 stories. You can open up your Bibles if you like. It's Luke 15. But many of you have probably heard these stories before. First, there's a story about a lost sheep. And a sheep gets lost. The shepherd leaves the 99 sheep and goes searching for this one sheep. And then he brings it home again safely. And because the sheep that was lost is now found, the shepherd, he has a great big party. and he invites all of his friends around. That's story number one. And then there's another story. It's almost exactly the same. There's a coin that gets lost. And this woman loses a rare and precious silver coin, and so she puts the other 9 coins to one side, and so she searches the whole house until she finds this one lost coin. And when she finds the coin, because the coin that was lost is now found, she's so happy. She tells all her friends about it, and she rejoices with them, and they rejoice with her, and they have a great big party. That's the second story. Again, nice and simple story. Then finally there's a third story. This time it's not anything so trivial as a sheep or a coin. This time it's a son who gets lost. And many of you will probably know this story too. It's a story called the prodigal son. And in the story, as many of you know, the son, he goes up to his father and he says, I know I'm going to get all this money when you die, but what I was wondering was whether or not you could give me that money now. Essentially, the son was saying to the father, essentially, I wish you were dead. And but the father, in generosity, he gives the son the money that's going to be due to him, his inheritance. And the son goes off to a far country and he wastes the money. And he ends up, after that, having to eat pig food and all those kinds of things. But then in this story that Jesus told, the son comes to his senses. He says, well, why am I starving here when my father's servants have food to eat? So he goes back home and back to the father that he rejected. And in this story, the father sees him a ways off. The father, not like many of us would, I imagine, but he doesn't get mad at him. He doesn't reject him. The father runs out to greet him. And just like in the story of the lost sheep and the lost coin, the father is jubilant because the son that was lost is found. And so he gets a ring and he puts a ring on the son's finger. He has a big party. He calls around all his friends. He kills a fatted calf, and they all have a wonderful big celebration. Now you can imagine, if you're one of the Pharisees that are sitting there muttering, the good guys, you know, the ones who always do what's right, and Jesus tells these 3 stories, you're probably going to be saying to yourself, okay, all right, I get the point now. You don't have to tell me 3 times. We're not that stupid. You're saying that the sinners, the lost people, they're important to God too. And you're leaving us, the good people, to go and rescue the bad people, the sinners, the lost people. That is not what Jesus is saying in these stories. That is not his main point. That is not his punchline. Because you see, just like in the joke we were telling before, the third story does not end where all the other stories end. Jesus has established a pattern, you see. Something was lost, something gets found, then there's a great big celebration. The third story does not end, though, with a great big celebration. Because you see, the prodigal son had a brother. Have a listen to what happened after that. Meanwhile, the oldest son was in the field. When he came near the house, he heard music and dancing. So he called one of the servants and asked him what was going on. Your brother has come, he replied, and your father has killed the fatted calf because he has him back safe and sound. The older brother became angry and refused to go in. So his father went out and pleaded with him, but he answered his father, look, all these years I've been slaving for you and never disobeyed your orders, yet you never even gave me a young goat so I could celebrate with my friends. But when this son of yours, who has squandered your property with prostitutes, comes home, you kill the fatted calf for him. My son, the father said, you are always with me, and everything I have is yours.